In this lesson, we're going to talk about measures of center. We're going to talk about the mean, the median, and the mode. In data analysis, we often want to find the measure of center. This is a way of summarizing the data by providing a central point of data. Mean, median, and mode are three different ways that you can measure the center of data. Let's start with mean. The mean is a measure of center in which the average of the data is taken. To find the mean, we take the sum of the data points and divide by the number of data points. The mean can be represented by the symbol X bar. Let's take a look at our example here. So John, Susie, Tiana, Beyonce, and Gabe are at a birthday party, and there's a piñata. And the piñata gets busted open, and this is the candy that each of them gets. And they decide they're going to divide it evenly amongst all of them. And that's going to be the mean of the data. So John has 4, Susie has 1, Tiana has 6, Beyonce has 1, and Gabe has 3. So let me add those numbers. Whew, there we go. All right, so Beyonce has way too many, or Tiana does, so we're going to give some to Beyonce, and we're going to give some to Susie. But now Tiana still has too many, so we'll give one to Beyonce. Now at least Gabe and Beyonce have the same amount, and Tiana, oh, John still has too many, so we'll put one over here, and now they each get 3. And basically when you're finding the mean, that's what you're finding. Instead of taking some from Tiana and giving it to Beyonce and some from Tiana and giving it to Susie and some from John, we can just put all the candy in a big pile, and then there's 5 students, so we divide by 5. The sum divided by the number of elements. Mathematically, that would just be 4 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 3 is 15. Divided by how many pieces of data I had, or how many students are getting candy, and each one is going to get 3. And that's what finding the mean is taking some from the high and giving it to the lower until you're all averaged out in the same amount, or you just add them all up and divide by how many you have. Let's say we had these scores on a test. So one student scored 91, a bunch of students scored 91, somebody scored an 89, a couple of people did, and then somebody scored a 24. So to find the mean, basically we'd be taking some of the 91 and giving it to the 24 and some of this 91 and giving it to the 89s until we average them all out. Or you can add up all the percentages, which is a total of 657, and then divide by how many we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is an 82.125%. Do you feel like that is a good analysis, that the average was an 82? Does that tell the whole story about how the students scored on this test? It's probably not the best, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students scored higher than an 82. So that doesn't really seem like that's a good representation of how most students did on the test because of this, what we call outlier here of the 24. So maybe a different analysis would be useful. Perhaps the median would give us more information about the test scores. The median is a measure of center in which the middle of the data is determined. And I remember that because a road median is in the middle of the road. It is not as influenced by outliers. In order to find the median, you order the data from least to greatest or greatest to least. It doesn't matter, as long as they're in order from smallest to biggest or biggest to smallest to determine the middle value. Now, putting them in order is really important, because the scores on a test here can be random. If I'm talking about a class, I could have put these in any order. And so then if you just pick a random order and pick the middle number, then it's arbitrary. It's changeable. It's not it's not significant what number is in the middle. So they have to be in some kind of order, either from least to greatest or greatest to least. Otherwise, the middle number changes depending on the order that you have them in. So put them in order from least to greatest and find the middle value. So these are already in order from greatest to least. And what is the middle value? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scores. So here would be the middle, 4 higher and 4 lower. So normally you would just take the average of these two to find the median number. So you would add them together and divide by 2, but they're the same. So the median score is 91. Does that give us more information? Is that more representative of the data that we have? Yeah, for sure. Because most students did score 91, a couple scored 89, and then we had an outlier. That leads us to one more piece of measure of center, and that is the mode. The mode measures frequency. The mode is the data element which appears the most. So when I look at this set of data here, which number happens the most? That is negative 91. In our test scores, it was also 91 because 91 happened the most. And sometimes when you have a lot of data that is all exactly the same, but then you have a couple of outliers, the mode would be a super useful piece of data analysis to use. So hopefully you understand a little bit more about mean, median, and mode.